Set deep in a remote corner of the vast Indian Ocean is an island drifting back in time. A place where men are still warriors, bamboo villages line the coast, and the use of electricity and money are unknown in some areas. The island is called Sumba, and though part of the Indonesian archipelago, it couldn't be more set apart with its unique language, culture, and traditions. Shannon and I had Sumba on our list for years, but it wasn't until some fans of our show, the Downs family in California, had inspired us to go. They helped start the Sumba Foundation, a non-profit organization created to better the lives of the Sumbanese by addressing their desperate educational, health, and economic needs, and have created a model approach to eradicating malaria, the leading cause of death on the island. With an invite to come over and lend a hand, as well as ride a few of Sumba's amazing waves, we had our tickets booked. On our way to Sumba, we had to stop over in Bali, which we didn't mind at all, as it's one of our favorite places in the world. Shannon and I were excited for our son Banyan to experience Bali, and it was a blast to watch him explore and soak it all in. It was good for us to be on the road as well, as in a couple of months, Shannon and I would be busy getting the crib ready for the new addition to our On Surfari family, and this time, it's a girl. We heard a good swell was on the way, and along with good friend Kahana Kalama, who was on his first trip to Indonesia, we went searching for a fun wave to warm up. The next day, we met up with On Surfari's music composer, Chad Farron, who was passing through with his girlfriend Camilla. They were on a little adventure of their own, collecting instruments along the way, and Chad was jamming with the local Balinese every chance he got. If there's one thing I don't like, it's monkeys. And for some reason, Shannon can't get enough of them. And every time we visit Bali, we end up in a place called the Monkey Forest. You got a bunch of monkeys that are pretty much threatening to bite you because you either have bananas or you don't have bananas. The little ones are fun, but there's some big nasty ones with like 3-inch teeth. Luckily, Shannon's parents were visiting for a few days with us, and the monkeys were more interested in them as they could smell their fear from a mile away. The word on the street that night was the surf was meant to be solid the next couple of days, so Kahana and I got up early to beat the crowd. This wave broke over a shallow lava rock shelf, and with a hungry crowd of top-notch surfers, it was pretty intimidating. But Kahana and I managed to catch a few. As usual, Bali surpassed our expectations, but it was time to make our way to the remote island of Sumba and step into a world like we'd never seen before. Arriving on the island of Sumba, we were whisked away to the Nihiwatu resort. It would be the first time Shannon and I have stayed anywhere with the name resort in it. And when we arrived, it was beyond anything we could have imagined. Claude Graves, who founded this idyllic refuge with his wife Petra, set out on a mission almost 20 years ago to search the world over for the most beautiful and remote coastline they could find and build a world-class resort like no other. It's been a long and difficult ride for the Graves, but through their unshakable perseverance, they've made their dream a reality. And now the Nihiwatu Resort is collecting tourism awards for their eco-friendly practices and humanitarian efforts through the Sumba Foundation. This was to be the base that Shannon, Kahana, and I would set out from to partake in the Foundation's various projects in the area. When Claude caught wind of Shannon being an artist, he took us to one of the schools the Sumba Foundation has been able to renovate, and it had some fresh white walls that looked like they could use some color.
We're at the Nihiwatu school. Like all the schools in the area, it was run down, had no water, lots of malaria, teachers sick all the time. We started with getting water in and school supplies to the kids. This is a total success story, this school. We can go and start focusing on other schools that were like this was in the beginning.
Kids are doing a really, really good job. They're doing most of the work.
After a long day of painting, it was time to cool off in the surf.
It's a very exciting wave. It's deceptive takeoff.
and it's just down the line surfing, super fast. You blow the takeoff, you're done pretty much. There's not a lot of room for error. It's really fast and really exciting, and it's got a lot of power, and it keeps you on your toes.
Today I went out there and got myself a couple reef cuts. The coral itself is live, and when it digs into your skin, a lot of times it leaves little polyps and little microscopic organisms. That's going to cause a staph infection. Oh! The acid in the lime will kill just about all those little nasty organisms.
This one's for dropping in on me.
So on your next surf trip, make sure you find a couple of these. The next day, we met up with the Sumba Foundation's malaria expert, Klaus Bo.
Malaria is a parasitic disease transmitted by mosquitoes. The only way you can get malaria is by mosquito bite, or if you get blood from a blood donor who has malaria. And right here in Sumba Island, in Indonesia, is probably one of the worst affected area outside of the African continent. Before we were here and had the malaria control program, a lot of children used to die from malaria. It's easy to diagnose, it's easy and cheap to treat, but it is by definition always the poor people in the most remote areas that have malaria and die from malaria.
So Klaus, this was a girl you were telling me about. She's 5 years old now, and she had cerebral malaria, which is like the worst kind you can get, right?
Yeah.
And being a surfer, that's like one thing I remember researching coming to Indonesia my first time, and how serious it is. I mean, basically your brain fries.
The mother brought her in like semi-comatose, convulsing. It's really, really visual when you see a child with cerebral malaria. And we immediately stabilized her. She survived. And if we hadn't been here, she probably wouldn't be sitting here today. It's a very good chance. Obviously, the long-term goal is to try and help as many people as possible in Sumba. And personally, I'm committed for the next decade. No problem at all. As long as we're doing something that's really important and I feel my efforts are going to the right things, then I'm really in this for the long run.
Back on the beach that evening, I got into some trouble with the locals. What I'm about to partake in is the Sumbanese art of boxing. It's a tradition passed on for many generations called pakujil. They normally get stones and they tie them in their hand and they wrap it around and they bash each other with these stones until blood falls on the ground.
This tradition from many years ago, from grandfather. The people die in the boxing, no problem, because tradition.
Why they do that is, one is the dropping of the blood on the ground brings fertility to the ground, so you'll have a good harvest. It also keeps the boys in the tribes tough, so that when another competing tribe comes into the village, everyone knows how to throw some bombs down. So for some reason, I organized a fight with the Sumbanese boxing champion, and we're not going to use stones, thankfully. I heard he's going to be light on me. I have no idea, and I don't even know if it's a good idea. So that was fun, huh?
Winners! Sumba champion still winning!
I thought that was the worst beating I would get on Sumba. That was until the next swell arrived. When traveling, taking pictures is a good idea. Just ask Art Brewer, whose passion for capturing a moment on film has been his life's pursuit. Shannon, Kahana, and I had the pleasure of traveling with Art during our time on the island of Sumba, and it was amazing to see what he would come back with day after day. One of the main reasons Art came all the way out to Sumba was for the annual Pasola Event.
So Shannon and I lucked into the annual Pasola Event here in Sumba, which is the most famous. And it's where every year the coastal villages versus the hilltop villages, they get themselves on horseback and they settle their feuds with spears.
The guys are going to be running around on horseback, throwing spears at each other. Everybody's dressed up in their traditional attire.
They used to use spear tips on these things and much heavier javelins. However, the government wanted to mellow that out because a lot of people were dying. You are going to see some serious spear chucking going on right now.
The warrior spirit of the Sumbanese was inspiring, so when Kahana and I heard the waves were going to be big the next couple of days, we decided to take them head on. We both learned quick that wasn't the best approach.
A place like Indonesia isn't a place you just go to have a vacation. You go here to have an adventure. We've had nothing but amazing experiences with really kind people.
Traveling through Indonesia as a mom of a little toddler and an expectant mom has been a wonderful experience. The people have been awesome. I feel super safe. They just love children so much. It's been just wonderful to see Banyan connect with the local children.
Having the opportunity now to be here and see what the Sumba Foundation has done for these people has been unbelievable. They're thinking every day of how they can help the people here. And it looks like it's a lifelong mission. Shannon and I have been blessed to come out here a couple times in our lives, and definitely plan on taking our kids back here to Indonesia for many years to come. Hey, we'll see you next time.
Actually, it's quite easy to help through the Sumba Foundation. What people can do is log on to our website, sumbafoundation.org, and see how you can help, and even give a modest donation, because they will, in the long run, really make so many things happen here.